One of my favorite things about learning, doesn't matter the source, is when it reaffirms something you've always felt or believed. Perfect example. I've always felt like there is two sides to me, and I don't know if it's one's good, one's bad, if either one can be good or bad. I used to label it good as bad, good and bad, a good side and bad side. But the thing is that like you can't get rid of it. It's a part of you. If you want to call it ego or whatever, just for the sake of understanding the point. But let's just say it was this ego, and I became aware that it was there. I would I would try to get rid of it, or maybe suppress it is a better term. And the thing with that is, I think that's almost impossible to do, because what will happen is that very thing that you're trying to suppress will make itself apparent in other areas of life. What helped me overcome this this feeling of guilt that I had around my ego was realizing that it's supposed to be there. That's the first thing. It's not like I was born it's not like I was born with it mistakenly. We all have it, and it's supposed to be there. It serves a purpose. Now, the battle and beauty in life is learning to work with it, as I've come to understand. And realizing that it's it is helpful if it can be used properly. Another analogy, actually, that my coach told me in jiu-jitsu, he told me, it was like you're relying too much on your strength. He's like, it's a tool, but it's not the only thing that you have. And to play along that, or to continue with that, he was right. I was relying too much on my strength in my game, and there's this whole other side, technical side, skill, that I wasn't focusing on as much. And as a result, he does no better than me, but a guy who's almost half my size can still take me down and choke me out. And so therein lies the problem, like with the ego. It is powerful, yes, and it can accomplish things, yes, but it it's supposed to be used in conjunction with whatever whatever the opposite of the ego is. um, Yourself. Yeah, I would say yourself, because you're not your ego. So how I've noticed, or how this has helped me in my life, is when I see my ego trying to, um, just when I recognize that my ego is there in maybe decision making, or um, during an encounter with somebody, or something, I no longer beat myself up over it, saying, "Oh, you shouldn't do that. You shouldn't think that way." Blah blah blah. Because as a result of me doing so, I'm kind of putting myself down, and almost essentially telling myself that I'm wrong and there's something that I need to fix. I would say I've come to realize there's just some things I need to adjust slightly. Now when I see and become aware of my ego, I try to, I should say, I do observe it, I recognize it, but then I don't let the negative thoughts start to creep in, and the self-doubt and the guilt. I think as a result, it's just allowed me to be a lot more clear and present. Throughout my interaction with people, I do realize it's something we all have. And if we're not using the proper outlets to express this energy and emotion, I do think it will come out in other areas of life. And people will be affected whether you do it or not. If you can learn to use the ego and maybe some quote unquote negative traits for actually good, I do think people will benefit from it. If you remain unaware and you cannot express that energy and that emotion properly, then I do think other people will suffer as a result of it, including yourself.